Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain and welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing my second of my disc run through, and so we're going to be talking about the I-type personality, which is influencing, very much so. And as a result, they have quite it's a personality type that is both an active type but is much more people focused. And again, very much like the last video, my I is on the higher side, so I can speak to much of this to an extent. Um, but people who kind of fit within this group, they may have very limited impulse control, be quite disorganized, and kind of lack on the follow through. But at the same time, they tend to be quite, due to the people side, due to the social focus, they tend to be quite enthusiastic and warm. They can sometimes be trusting to the extent of gullible, but they tend to be optimistic and kind of convincing and chatty. And as a result, they love collaboration. They love having people around them. They love like expressing enthusiasm and throwing all that positivity around. And as a result, taking action. But they like taking action with others. It's very much a oh, let's go do a thing, and then everyone goes and does a thing, and they're really happy as a result. But as a result, the things that they're most motivated by are things like relationships. They value people over other things. They love their group activities like going out and partying, and there's a lot of social recognition there. There's a lot of want for validation to one extent or another that kind of comes out of this. And as a result, the things that they fear are things like disapproval, being ignored, losing what influence they have, and stuff like that. If ever you want to put an I-type person in a box, as it were, as they're kind of, or rather, putting them in a box would be their worst case scenario. Just locking them away and forgetting about them would leave them torn to pieces. It would not be nice, and so wouldn't recommend it. But it's a thing. But as a result, they value things like freedom of expression and democratic relationships where everyone will weigh in on things, and then they can, lots of different opinions. The best way, I think, was that it was explained to me was by Dave Pill, the guy that actually I did my disc accreditation with, the trainer that was there. And the way that he explained an I-type personality was someone that would go into a travel agent, and they would ask for stories, or they would go, oh well, so and so said that this place sounded nice, I want to go there. And then as soon as the travel agent suggested a different place and that it sounded nice and so on, then they might want to go there instead, just because on the very high I-type personality, opinions matter. They they get influenced as much as they influence others, and so as a result, there tends to be very much kind of squirrel kind of attitude to being moved around. Now, thankfully, I don't tend to experience that quite so much, but there's that new ideas, kind of positive energy behind them, kind of thing that people just pick up and run with, and that's very much kind of I-type level of things, where you're taking, for example, product reviews, or reviews from friends over something that's scientific or proven or empirical or scored or whatever else. And as a result, the things that they kind of aspire towards, as already kind of mentioned a second ago, are things like having friends and being happy, and having some element of authority or prestige within their social group, especially, or having some kind of status symbol kind of element attached to them. And obviously popularity, because as said, the thing that they hate the most is being ignored or being disapproved of or being just kind of pushed away. So they want to be in the middle of that social circle, being fed all of that energy. But as a result, the stuff that can be more difficult for these people, that fit into the high I especially, are things like actually slowing themselves down, researching things, looking into stuff in a very detailed way, because the active types tend to be much more big picture. I mean, as said, an awful lot of this is framing. So in regards to me, when when I sit in the top I and D kind of area on things, it's very much a case of me going, okay, well, to do a good job, then, or to know what I'm talking about, or to be the best, or to have that authority, or to take on any challenge, then I need the right tools and the right weapons. And the right tools and weapons that I have all require research. They all require me to look into things and know stuff. In which case, that's what I'm going to do. And so I will charge at the research and get the research done. And then I know that I'm ready to charge at the thing that's actually causing me the problem. You know, it's just a framing thing. But again, that isn't always a thing that other people can do easily by themselves, and so especially I-type individuals will have that kind of that difficulty with ignoring the fun side of just running off and doing a thing with people, and they'll choose to do that, or they'll prioritize that over sitting down and actually making sure that you're doing the right thing. And as a result, their follow-through is also, once the fun's gone, they may not care to do the follow-up on it, and that's a problem, especially if you're looking at certain other areas like leadership, where there is a lot of follow-through that has to be done at times. At one point, again, I wasn't always great at my follow-up on making sure that people had done their jobs. I was good at potentially like delegating after a while and setting them and getting them off on doing things, but then going back and doing the check over was a thing that was a thing. I was a bit too trusting in regards to some of my members of staff that I worked with a lot, and as a result, also they like to talk and they like to converse and they like to throw these ideas around. So being direct and kind of just straightforward and sticking to a topic and dealing with that and then just shutting up can again be difficult. Staying focused on things for can be difficult for these individuals over especially an extended period. But going to leadership, because that's where I see an awful lot of these things being talked about the most, and in work and so on and so forth. The I-type can be a absolutely great leader because again they're active, they've got that enthusiasm and that energy to kind of push things through. So they can be a great leader. But the thing is, obviously, if they're having trouble with follow-up and they're having trouble kind of focusing on things for a long period of time, then that's a weakness that they can be kind of very much aware of. But as a result, all you need to do is making sure that, they can be great delegators because they're communicating and they're getting people enthused and convinced and kind of pushing on with these actions and ideas. So they can be really good at handing out the jobs and making sure that everyone is doing and going and having like a bit of a fun time with it, just because there's that level of enthusiasm and optimism that they will bring with it. And so it's that kind of push, and they tend to be very positive a lot of the time. And yeah, in my experience, again, they can, a very high type I individuals can be very, very effective leaders, and they can be very, very fun to be around whilst they do it. But obviously, sometimes they do need to, there are those moments where they need to dial themselves back and keep themselves in check. Same with anybody. But I feel it can be harder for I-type individuals simply because when they dial themselves back, part of the dialing themselves back can then also, because you're not enthusiastic anymore, you're not running around as energetically anymore, and as a result, it can then lead to a slightly different response, and that change in response from other people around them can lead to the whole fear of losing influence or disapproval kind of piling up on that person, and that can be one of the main reasons why they tend not to stick to those things, even if they're aware of them. It can be very difficult because, at least in regards to a D-type, where their fears are things like vulnerability and being taken advantage of, well, then that just means you do the job and you do it better, yeah? And as a result, you just push harder. With an I-type, because it's much more people-focused, there's a lot more floating around, and there's a lot more kind of self-doubt involved, because people's reactions may change to you, but they may not change their overarching opinion. But you can't tell what their overarching opinion is because that's locked inside their head, and you're not a mind reader. And so I feel like it can be a little bit harder just to in the broad strokes, for higher I type people to worry, to get these worries out of their system, so that they can have those moments of slowing themselves down and trying to concentrate on things without worrying about the loss of influence or whatever from others. But yeah, again, tell me what you guys think. Do these sound like you? Have you known people in work or other places that were like this, that were very kind of like jumping from one opinion to the next because someone said that X was great or that Y was great, and so it's just that continual jumping and interest in all these new things. Tell me what you guys think and what you've experienced. But otherwise, if you found this interesting, drop me a like, and otherwise subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.